really proud. I mean, it's something that I really like, and I think it's also useful for society.
I feel like, at least in academia, because again, that's where most of my experience is to progress, especially to get to, let's say, an assistant professor level, a full professor level. You also need to be a bit more assertive. You need to have that kind of that drive and that ambition. And I feel very often we as women are not so confident when it comes to voicing our opinions.
You're like the only female in the space, and I think it could be a little intimidating.
From day one, because I started working in a company that women were more in the office and men more in the work in the field. I never felt like because I was a woman, he said, okay, you have to go to the office. No, you cannot have the practical part. Honestly, I never felt that, but it was interesting for me to learn how to work in a more men environment.
Now I think I achieved the point that everyone sees me like equal.
So he looked at my resume and he saw that I said, like, civil engineering with architecture. And he was like, oh, I see that you're doing architecture here. Why don't you just work with an architect? I mean, anywhere girls are better at like just doing drawings, right?
Because I'm an environmental engineer, they think that I just know about plants and animals and not engineering.
So at the end of this talk, the woman said that watching at me, she will never say I was a civil engineer.
He told me, look, I think you are not being aggressive enough.
I spoke to him and said, like, okay, I think we need to say this. This needs to be clear. And then he says it, and suddenly it's like, oh, yes, oh my God, this is true. And I was like, oh my God.
I never felt excluded or treated differently because of my gender. I guess I was fortunate in that sense. And in some cases, it even helped me stand out a little bit. But there is definitely a divide, and that's something that becomes more and more obvious as you kind of, especially as you progress.
No. Okay. From that point of view, they are excellent.
I don't have direct experience, but probably it depends also to the fact that I don't care a lot about that. A work interview, it happens that they ask you if you are a mother or if you want to become a mother, And the answer can be the choice based on they choose a man or a woman.
Not from my boss, not from my supervisor. That I never felt, but more in this lab.
Right now, at this moment, I think, no, everything is fine. But if I look at the past, sometimes, yes, in some stages, I feel that there are some problems. If I were a boy, I was feeling better.
Not once I felt like because I was a woman that someone was treating me in a different way. Saying this, it doesn't mean that it's not hard sometimes to work just with men and to be heard. Sometimes I would say it's the most complicated part.
I think family does play a big role. I mean, society almost trains us to believe that we as women need to have families and we need to prioritize that.
If I want to go on with my career, I'm aware that right now I cannot afford to have a family, for example.
Sometimes women lose or jobs or opportunities because they are women and have this possibility of having in the future a family.
While you don't have equal family rights, because why women and men do not share, for instance, when they have a baby, why women have to stay much more time than men. When we have to talk about it and say, look, this is not normal, is because it's not okay. So I think if we're still talking about it, if we're still saying, is there enough women? Is it equally? No, it's because there's something wrong.
It doesn't make sense for women to do the same job again. Like,
change is already being introduced. I mean, I see a lot of universities and their hiring policies are actually kind of going in favor of female candidates because they are aware of this imbalance that they have.
Children, about the education in both school and family environment.
Or even in the society, unless in the university, maybe it's better that the people think that the female also have the same capability than compared to a man.
And I think we need to start changing ourselves, okay?
And then I think for some reason, I think there's like some work that needs to be done, because I also feel like there's like this age, like around, I don't know, 12 or 15 as well. And I think I read something about this that says, like, in general, that's when girls start saying, like, okay, maybe I don't want something related with a lot of math or, something. So they change, or they look, that is like too masculine. There's like too many guys there. So I'm not just going to do something that it's so technological even.
In Europe, I believe there's not a lot of difference in how they treat you.
I have worked in 3 countries, in Iran, India, and Portugal. It is a little bit depends on the culture, I think, and the idea of the people of the country.
In Europe and in the US, at least in the university setting, I did not feel that difference personally.